Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. How you all doing? I hope you're doing well. Now, I am reacting to breaking down the law of Enhypen's Untold concept cinema. So we are reacting to Bookish Theory, and she is really great at explaining the laws of that are behind the bands. I have listened to one of her videos way back when I was like trying to get into Enhypen. And I really liked how she broke everything down, not just from the videos, but from she's taking context from the website and like went and like she did her research. That's what I want to try and say. I want to know the whole meaning behind this concept trailer. I remember Hanu saying in their behind the scenes that they have left as Easter eggs. But I watched it many times, but I couldn't find anything. Okay, I'm not good at that. Also, I've been reading comments and people are, I'm reading comments under other people reaction videos, and people are saying that the logo, Untold logo, has some kind of key in it, and I don't know, it signifies something or not. But let's hope that she covered those concepts because the rest I kind of have like an idea of what this thing is about, but if she can break it down and tell us other things that are not visible on just watching, if you have to research for that, I really hope she does that. But without further ado, we'll get into it. Three, two, one.
Hello and welcome back to Bookish Theories. Today we catch up with our favorite vampire lords breaking down the Untold concept cinema, written and directed by Lee Chung-hyun. Untold is a short film introducing us to the new story of Enhypen's romance Untold. We
See
were
the
all getting
key.
ready for another chapter of the Blood series, but Enhypen surprised us all with a brand new series called Romance. Untold is the first installment of this brand new series, and according to the press release, the concept of the album very much continues the overall narrative we followed so far. The boys who crossed the border and had to face a strange new dimension found an answer of their own to this multifaceted world. They declared their answer in a manifesto and then professed their love and devotion for you, the one that saved them and with which they are connected by blood. In Romance Untold, this connection is celebrated even more, and you become somebody they love, but most importantly, somebody they can trust with their secret. As we know, in the story, the boys play the role of 7 vampires who lived a very long life full of mysteries. Throughout their existence, they've always had to run, move from place to place. They always had to keep their identity a secret, because in the world of that moon, vampires are considered terrible monsters to fear and dispose of. To be fair, they're kinda right about that, because the 7 boys are very different from other vampires. They're good, but humans don't know it, which is why they're forced to hide and fake their identity. Because of that, the theme of trust is very important in the story. The 7 brothers might have lived for centuries, but more often than not, they could only trust each other. So the idea of finally finding somebody they can trust with their secret and their life is very powerful here. Since Enhypen have a very defined worldview, director Lee took this concept and developed it in an original story that also respects the core lore. This original story not only fits the theme of the new album, but it also pays homage to the beautiful connection shared by Enhypen and Engines. In Untold, in fact, we find ourselves in a world where humans and vampires are at war. As humans decide the coexistence with vampires is no longer possible, the 7 brothers decide to leave town to survive the scheduled extermination of the entire vampire population.
Well, that also like makes it understand that I think they're not in Korea at this time because the whole news is in English, and the person who the policeman who talked to them, who gave instruction, are all like everything is in English, except for the voice when they're speaking between themselves, among themselves. But I think it happened in some place in US or something, because I guess that from the idea, sorry, from the accent. So the fact that they're running from places to places, they're not just gonna keep running within Korea. Obviously, they are going to run out of countries and other stuff. So maybe this takes place in US.
In a scene that was cut from the film, Nikki's character says that they must cross the border before sun.
We must cross the river before. Okay, yeah, this part was not in This line was not in the Untold trailer. They cut it out. When I was watching behind the scenes, I have mentioned in my video, I was really furious about them cutting his line out. They must have their own reason. But when I was watching their, I don't know, I was watching their reaction to the, they have the reaction, Enhypen has reaction for this one. And sorry, and when I was watching their reaction, I felt like Nikki was kind of like he was upset. I don't know. Maybe I was upset, so I thought he was upset as well. But I thought he looked upset that his line was not added. And obviously, if you work so much for something, I know that none of them took this thing unseriously. So it must have hurt. I mean, if I was in Nikki's position, it would have hurt me.
Sunrise, but as they get ready to never look back, there's one person they cannot leave behind. This person is a girl named Chloe,
Chloe.
a human that protected the seven brothers and their secret. Just like Enhypen are not like other vampires, Chloe is not like other humans. She was able to see past prejudice, and the boys make music for her, which is something that allowed them to create an unforgettable bond. In Untold, Chloe is a character that canonically symbolizes engines, which is something that was also confirmed by the press release. She is you, literally, which is a role that in the past was for the most part covered by Sua/Selen. Speaking of which, where are they? Why is there a Chloe this time, but not a Selen, a Sua, or even both?
I also know about this because they kept on mentioning Riverfield, and they hadn't gone to Riverfield yet in the Untold video, which means that they have not met Suha yet. This timeline for the Untold concept trailer is before they went to the Riverfield, before they met Suha.
Like back in Orange Blood. Before diving into the video itself, I want to unpack this and see how Untold fits into the overall story. Right at the end of the video, we see that Untold was created with children of Vanfield, which is something that tells us a couple of things. For one, that this concept cinema is an adaptation, a story created with elements of Dark Moon, but that also takes certain liberties to express the director's vision. This is the same approach that was taken for the Blood series, if you remember. Back then, the trailers were respectively created with the Blood Altar and Two Moons. We still know nothing about Two Moons, but if you read the Blood Altar, then you know that the Dark Blood trailer had a lot of similarities, but it's definitely not identical in comparison to the story. In the same way, Untold is created.
I hope Two Moons come. I have been waiting patiently for Two Moons, but it's still not there yet. I was hoping with memorabilia, because it showed their webtoon character. I thought this was like a promotion for Two Moon that is about to come, but I don't know. I'm really excited to know how Two Moon will enroll.
With certain elements of Children of Vanfield. As I'm recording this, that story is still far from over, so we still don't know how accurate Untold is in comparison to the story, but one thing that we know for sure is that this is a prequel to the Blood Altar. In the story, the boys are heading to Riverfield, which is the town where the Blood Altar is set, and where they enroll at the Deselis Academy. In the wake of the vampire cleansing, the seven brothers are escaping there. That's their safe space, so all the events that take place in the Blood Altar haven't happened yet. By all accounts, this means that this is also a prequel to the Blood series, and the reason why there's no Sua and there's no Selen is because they're not in the picture at this point of the story. Selen has been dead for about 1,000 years at this point. At the end of the Blood Altar and in Orange Blood, we see that she's alive and with a physical body, but in Untold, she's not back yet. As for Sua, the boys haven't met her yet, that is, if she's even born at this point. It seems that Untold is set
we don't
before
know.
the boys
We
get to
don't know.
Riverfield. People hate vampires to the point of killing them all, so to me this is not set that long before the Blood Altar, maybe a few years prior at most. If you remember, at the beginning of the webtoon, Sua was introduced as a child who was terrified of being mistaken for a vampire. She had to move from place to place the moment people started to talk, and considering what happened to Chris, vampires are well-known problems. That intro gave us quite a lot of context about the way vampires are seen by the general public, and it's not good. Because of that, I think that it would fit that a couple of years down the line a full-on extermination might take place. The modern outfits and setting also hint at the fact that this is not set in distant eras like some other videos, even though the cassette tapes
Mm-mm.
are kinda giving 1980s. In the timeline I made for memorabilia,
Yeah. Wow, wow. Okay. I did not know she made it. She made the whole thing. But one thing I also noticed that in the previous video, when we were getting glimpse of them in the orphanage, you can see by their clothes and the way they're dressed, it's like really, really old. But this untold cinema concept, they're wearing like jackets and stuff, and also they're holding guns, which obviously I'm not saying that even in the orphanage time they were like on the timeline of holding swords, because that was before that. That was before they even became vampire, right? When they were like Suha was a princess and everything. But just like she said, I believe it happened um, couple or maybe like some years before. It's like not 100 years or 200 years before that. I think it happened like at most 10 years, 10 bit like less than 10 years before
the 80s are
they went
indeed a
to death
decade where
of
we don't know what happens to the
Suha.
boys. In the
Okay.
60s, they are in Enhypen being spies. In the 90s, they are busy with Vesselsoft. But in the 70s or 80s, there is a gap where we still don't know what happens. Despite of that, I would still place Untold somewhere in the 2000s. Not only it fits with the events of Sua's childhood, but also because Vesselsoft gets destroyed on New Year's Eve 1999. And from that point until present day, the Salis, we have no idea where they go. There is a gap in the 2000s as well, and I think that Untold might actually fit the gap perfectly. The style of the video, the aesthetic, and the dark tones are also very reminiscent of early 2000s cinema, and in the teaser, the director actually made a very interesting reference. The score that you hear in the teaser is a rendition of a track called Lux Eterna. This is the iconic soundtrack from Requiem for a Dream, a movie that sure enough actually came out in the year 2000. To see if the timeline is correct, for now we'll have to wait and see, but in the meantime, let's take a look at what happens in the video. The concept cinema begins with the boys watching the breaking news in their hideout. As humans are no longer willing to coexist with vampires, our full-scale extermination has been scheduled to kill the entire vampire population. Vampires try to flee in the night, and special forces are being deployed to terminate the enemy on sight. The seven brothers are waiting for nightfall to leave as well, and when Hisung spots the patrol car outside, he decides that it's finally time to go. The boys take their weapons and their blood and head off trying to lay low. This is actually very difficult because they're wanted fugitives. Their faces plastered all over the walls, but their plan is to blend in and act as human as possible. In the parking lot,
Which
the boys
didn't
load the
work.
car and get ready to leave, but Jongwon is not moving. His attention is on a little toy piano abandoned in the trash, and when Jake tells him to get going, he refuses. The piano reminded him of Chloe,
And
their
she's gonna
loved one
just
and
go
protector.
over
Jongwon had promised her to take her to
the
Riverfield, so he
video.
refuses to leave until he honors this promise. Now, considering how close Jongwon is with Anjin, I think it's very fitting that he is the one that wants to go back for her. He seems to have deep feelings for Chloe, but in the story, this proposition sparks a debate. Hisung, for instance, is not having it. He reminds him that Chloe is a human. Not only she's not in danger,
I think in the video it looked like only Heesun was against going for Chloe. And I did mention in my behind the scene videos as well that if they had put Nikki's line, it would have kind of showed that they were discussing it all together. Because in the video, it looked like everyone wanted to go and save Chloe, but Heesing was against it. But if we had put Nikki's line, I believe it would have kind of showed that they were all discussing what to do, and Heesing was not against the idea. Well, he was kinda against the idea, but also in the behind the scene, Heesung mentions that since he is the leader of the vampire, not the group, because Jungwon is the leader of the group, because he is the leader of the vampires, he feels like it is his responsibility that they stay safe. And obviously, the thing that they were going to do and the thing that they wanted to do was not safe at all. So Heesung was reluctant because he wanted to go and save Chloe, but he did not want it to go because he felt like it would put them in danger. And he had to think about the boys more than he had his own feelings.
Belongs to the very species that wants to kill them, to which I'd like to say, where was this energy where Sua hated y'all? She was human too, but I guess that only counts if
Wait, no. Suha, no, you cannot put that for Suha because, like they said in the webtoon, because they had this instant connection with her. Yes, she was a human, but they go way back. They go way back. Chloe or us engines. Okay, I'm gonna take her as Chloe. I'm not gonna take it as us engines. Chloe, they did not have prior connection to Chloe, so it was like built up. But for Suha, they just instantly had that connection, and not only Heesung or Helly, other members and other vampires felt it too,
it's someone
except for
else's girl.
Solon.
By this logic, Jaka should have left her ass in the alley that one time, but I digress. Jokes aside though, Hisung/Ailey is very on character here. Before Sua, Ellie's main goal was always to protect his brothers. As the leader of the
I
vampires
said the
and the
same
eldest
thing.
of the group, his main objective is always to keep his little brothers safe, and especially in the context of Children of Vanfield, his behavior makes a lot of sense. It's always them against the world, so Hisung is being on brand here. He doesn't want to risk his brother's life to go find a human, but Jay and Sonu remind him that Chloe is actually different. She helped them, she loves them, and because of that, she's worth fighting for. Sungun says that he knows where Chloe is, so after Isung makes sure that they understand how much they're risking, they all agree and off they go to find Chloe. On their way, the boys reminisce about their time with their loved one. They bonded with her through music. They created countless memories for her, and she recorded them on the tapes to make these memories eternal. The cassette box is giving memorabilia here, and them singing and dancing together is very reminiscent of that one scene from Given and Taken and Children of Vanfield. Even back in Vanfield, the boys loved music, but Chloe gave their music a purpose, if you will. Instead of making music for the sake of it, they started making music for somebody they love, which is exactly what Enhypen do for Engine in real life. As they get closer to their destination, the boys eventually run into a checkpoint. Hisung tells the others to get the guns and act normal, and as tensions rise, they all get ready for what is
Which
about to
does
go
not
down.
make
The
sense.
policeman approaches the car
Still
and
does not
questions
make
them.
sense.
Jake assures him that they're just going to the town square, and after checking the car and the boys inside of the car, the policeman tells them to get going and get on fast. The plan to quote-unquote act normal seems to have worked, but wait, it hasn't, because as soon as they
It
drive away,
doesn't.
the policeman confirms the sighting of the 7 vampires. As the agents shoot the car, they crash in the window of a music store. The targets are presumed dead, and when Sono falls out of the car unconscious, this suspicious seems to be confirmed. When the agent goes to check if the targets were actual vampires, the first officer says to aim for the head
His
and finish the
falling,
job.
Sonu's
He seems to know
falling,
better than
Sonu's falling was like really, really realistic. And I was like, how does he not hurt? But yeah, later I found out
the
he
special
landed on
forces
something
themselves,
soft.
and they should have listened to him, because all of a sudden Son opens his red eyes, takes his gun, knocks him out, and then starts shooting everybody. Son acted as a decoy here, so the moment he takes action, that's the signal for the others to attack as well. Jungwon and Jae jump out the back. Nikki flies and uses one of the agents as human shield, and as the
Nikki is
shootout
always
continues,
flying,
the
okay?
others join in as well. The boys are very much outnumbered by the agents, but vampires are hard to kill. Even if the bullets
Yeah.
injured them, they keep fighting, while the agents fall like flies. In a last-ditch effort to defeat the 7 fugitives, the agents decide to throw a grenade, which hurts everybody, including the agents themselves. The barbershop explodes, the vampires collapse, and all the agents get killed in action. The last one standing is Songun, who ends the last agent with a headshot and then enters the store. At this point, we discover
Someone
that the
was
music
like,
store was
shut the
their
fuck up.
destination. That's the same location where they shared all those memories with Chloe, but now everything is
Yeah.
destroyed and Chloe is nowhere to be found. She's gone, and Songun walks among the rubbles of the happy memories they lost. This is a very powerful scene considering Solon's story. Even in Dark Moon, Solon is a very lonely character because he's the only one of his kind. He feels ashamed of being half and half. He feels different and alone because he's not like his brothers, but we get the sense that the moments shared with Chloe made him feel like he belonged. Making music for Chloe made him happy, but now all of that has disappeared. In the store, Songun
That's why Songhun is like always alone, and um, that's why I believe in Dark Moon as well. Songhun was the one who, um, you know, was the one who wanted to, like, who went against his brothers because he always felt a little, not too much, I'm not saying like he doesn't love them enough or not, but he always felt somewhat different from his six brothers.
Gun finds the recorder with a cassette tape still inside. The tape is titled XO, which usually
Exo,
means hugs and kisses when you say goodbye in text. It's an expression of love and
exo, exo,
affection, but also something that you say as a
exo.
farewell. Fittingly enough, the tape contains
Yeah.
the instrumental of Only If You Say Yes. Yes is a word that only you can give them, and in my opinion, that yes is also what has been left untold. Only if you say yes, they can be in your life. Only if Chloe says yes, they can be together, but now she's gone.
Chloe's
Sangyeon
dead.
goes back to the car and puts the tape in the cassette player. As the music plays, the seven brothers listen in sadness. Jungwon cries the loss of Chloe, but not everything is lost. All of a sudden, in fact, the radio glitches and the X disappears.
Supernatural.
As Enhypen showed us time and time again, X means no, so by contrast, O should mean yes. Even if Chloe's
Okay.
gone, she's really not.
She is
She is
saying
with them
yes.
always, and she makes her
Yes.
presence known by saying the yes that was left untold. Now, to see if Chloe is really gone and what happens next, for now we'll have to wait and see, but let me know what you think in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please think about liking and subscribing.
I did.
As always, thank you so much for watching, guys.
She did not mention the Easter eggs that I wanted to know, and she did not mention the key that I wanted to know. Maybe they're not that important. Maybe they're not important, and I'm just overthinking. But yeah, it's it was the same information that I already like guessed and figured out by myself. But um, yeah, I did actually got a little bit more information that I already had. I will like her channel. I might as well go and watch the memorabilia. This one, Fatal Trouble Explained. Okay, I might watch this one. Uh, you do tell me if you want me to react to her other videos because I want to do Dark Blood, Orange Blood, this memorabilia, and I've already done the Untold one. I really want to do these for the channel. So if you want me, I'll do it with you. And no, I'll do it by myself. Anyways, this was it for the video, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.